What an opportunity this is. I'm blown away just to have all of you in here. This really makes my heart sing. I'm probably the most unprepared and most prepared for any retreat I've ever led in my life. I'm probably the most unprepared in the sense that I have done so little because I wanted this retreat to be something that came just completely from the heart. And there will be circumstances that are planned because we're going to be doing some ceremony. But I'm really trying to come as much as I can from what's happening in the moment. This could be my last retreat that I lead, residential retreat. And then I was thinking, if next summer I'm still alive, then I would love to sit quietly. I may be in a wheelchair and I may not be able to talk, but maybe we'll just sit together in silence together for a few days. And if I can do it at all, I promise you I will do that. The reason why I feel the most prepared is because I'm preparing to die. And if anything prepares you for life and being in the present moment, it's knowing that you're going to die pretty soon. And that's what I want to bring to all of us, is to have this retreat be about our own deaths, to talk about death openly, to talk about my own death, to talk about this crazy unknown journey that we're all on. I'm more and more saying, you're either open or you're closed, or you're opening or you're closing at every moment. And I want to talk about what does it mean to be opening, to open to every single thing that you confront. And it's like working with opening and softening your belly. Like just even right now, have this sense of like big arms coming open and just this sense of just opening to everything. Because if you're not doing that, you are closing. You cannot do them at the same time. So you are either opening or you are closing. If there was anything I could leave this retreat with, a sense of you having that sense of opening to your lives. Every single thing that comes, every thought, every experience, every feeling in your body. So I'm going to keep reminding us just this sense of just opening. I want to just remind people about the teachings about outer, inner, and secret retreat and what that means. So the outer retreat is when we go on retreat. We're coming into a contained physical external environment. And that means that we come into a situation that has less impact on us, right? We're in a place where we're being fed really well. It's very contained. There's going to be the silence. We're not at home having to do a lot of things. We're safe. We're warm. So there's a way that we come on retreat to start to cut out some of the physical environment that can be disruptive. We go on retreat to find ourselves so that when we go out, we're not dependent on that. We can't get dependent on a retreat environment. That's not what life is. But we come on retreat so that we can come and settle and listen. It's all about listening. Inner retreat is our physical body, and that is we leave the environments that are overly stimulating. We leave the sometimes bad food. We leave the alcohol, the marijuana, whatever might be our vice. We leave the conversations that piss us off all the time or that cause some sort of insecurity. We leave those so that we can come here and watch so carefully, again, the arising when there's nothing out there that's doing it. It's just arising in here because we're remembering or we're longing for the alcohol. We're remembering a conversation. But that's not what's happening. So it allows us to actually experience what is arising all day long. But we get to actually work with it. Again, we can't come on retreat all the time. That's not what our lives are about. But we come on retreat so that we can begin to work with our mind. And the secret is our vows, our intention. It's our inner working. How do we work with our mind? How do we work with the silence? Are we talking all the time? We say, be the change in the world. That means, how do we become the change while on retreat so that we can leave retreat and be the change that we want in the world who needs us so badly right now? It's how do we work with our mind while we're here? That's the secret retreat that we go on. But it's also the vows that we've taken in our lives. And that's whether it's our refuge vow or bodhisattva vow or samaya vow. All these things we come to do, we come on retreat so that we can listen and we can watch and we can work with in a more refined way, so that when we go out into the shit show of life, we have more understanding of how our mind works. Does that make sense? Okay, so use this time. This is such an amazing opportunity to have this time to, one, to be together in this Sangha that has the history that we do. Oh my God. To have the protection and the care of one another without having to talk is just amazing. But also to come and to be in this retreat center, to have the good food, to have a good, nice, warm bed, to not have to deal with all the other stuff, and to have the silence. So I really want to ask us to be conscientious about the silence on this retreat. That means, how are you when you're outside? How are you with the person that you're sharing in your room? How are you when you're doing your yogi job? There's a way that this is an opportunity to be together in the most intimate way that we can. And we'll take the vow of silence in a bit. But I really want you to think about the gift you give yourself and the gift you give everybody else that's here. And we've talked about this a million times because we've been on retreat a million times with each other. But I really want to stress that on this retreat. How do we really refine this retreat and really let ourselves drop and drop and drop and drop? One person is going to be taking her refuge vow, and 2 people are going to be taking their bodhisattva vows. And I'm going to use that as a platform to teach off, because I went back and was looking through all my teachings about refuge and bodhisattva. And it's the whole thing. And often what I would do is I would be meeting with you separately, and I thought, I'm going to do the whole dang thing in front of everybody because I want you all to be reminded of your vows. If you haven't taken them, that's fine. You'll know what we're talking about, and you can take your own vow inside. And if we really want to do another ceremony at some point, we will. So we'll be talking about the refuge vow and what that means, and we'll be talking about the bodhisattva vow as we go. I'm really excited that we all get to touch into that again. So beautiful. When I talk about opening, what I mean is about finding so much stability in life, so that if I was to ask you the question, what are you going to do about, or when, ... What are you going to do when you find out that you're going to die in a year? What are you going to do when your partner just pisses you off? What are you going to do when a nuclear bomb goes off? What are you going to do when a terrorist attack happens? What are you going to do when your house burns down? What are you going to do when the pot of food on the stove burns? What are you going to do when you stub your toe? What are you going to do when you're not getting what you want? That's what it is about opening, is that we start to learn how to have that sense of stability that is so present and so stable in the face of our wild emotions that might be happening. And that's what I want to keep this sense of, is how are we developing stability with also this sense of just radical fluidity in us, to feel every emotion that comes, and this fluidity to be able to be in the present moment, and when it goes, boom, it's gone. But in that, there's this stability, this mountain-like experience that we carry all the time. These are my main practices right now. How do we listen so deeply that we're so not listening to the storm of our mind? And we begin to just constantly remember that what's happening in our mind is a scratch compared to the infinite, immense reality that is around us. And a lot of the retreat will be about how do we keep experiencing that, and how do we work with that tiny little thing that takes up every single cell of our being, that little scratch. And we are so unavailable for reality. To do that, we have to talk about dying. We have to be able to talk about it as if it's just another chapter in our lives, and it's happening to everything and to ourselves, and it's going to happen to ourselves. It may happen even before this retreat's done. Who knows? So I want to just have this sense of openness and freedom, and I'll be weaving death in all the way through. And put our skull up here to remind us.